Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So, since you guys liked my kitten so much in my other video, I thought I would include him in the beginning of this one. I'm not going to keep him in the entire video just because if you watched my last one, you saw that he like knocked over my equipment and was like acting crazy. See, look, there he goes. But I got a couple comments asking about, first of all, his name. His name's Draco. We named him after Draco Malfoy. Oh my gosh, he doesn't want to be chill. And then I also got a couple comments asking about his toes as well. He does have thumbs, so he has 6 like fingers on his hands. I don't know if you can see right now, but it's called a polydactyl. So, yeah, he has 6 fingers. So for everyone asking. But I'm going to keep him in another room for this video just because I don't want him to knock over my camera again. And as you can see, he's in quite the rowdy mood, so yeah. Okay, bye Draco. Okay. Okay, so for today's video, I have IHOP. I got their salted toffee or something toffee pancakes. I forget exactly what it's called. And then I also got their crepes and their strawberry banana French toast. And I know I said in my other video that I was a waffle person, but I was gonna get their waffles, but then they looked kind of boring. Like it was just a plain waffle. Oh, they had chicken and waffles, but I don't eat chicken, so I couldn't have that. So I just decided to get different stuff instead. That's so good. And then I also got whipped cream because I wanted to put my own on. And like I know they give you whipped cream, but I wanted to put my own on. So we're gonna put some on. And then as you can tell, I love whipped cream, so. And then also for today's video, I'm going to be, so in my, I think it was my Taco Bell mukbang, I talked about like my least favorite job that I've ever had. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking, so in the first video I talked about the creepy guys I had to deal with when I worked there. But for today, I also mentioned how like much I hated my manager. And so for today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the like annoying stories I had involving her, like just because I mentioned it in my past video, and then some people asked me like what had happened, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit today in kind of like a story time type thing. I don't know how many stories. I have like a lot of different stuff that she did that like I could just talk about for hours. This is just gonna be like a vent session pretty much. Like it's not even really like a story time. But I have like a lot of different stuff that I could like say that she did, but I'm just gonna try to keep it to like a couple of stories because I don't have time to like talk about everything, so. And I don't know if you guys can see, but on the inside it has like the layers, so like the top layer, it has it on like all the layers, the toffee stuff, so like it's almost like frosting kind of. Okay, so just some background information if you didn't watch my first video where I talked about my job. It's kind of known in Washington as like, well, they definitely go for like a specific vibe there, so they only hire like young girls, and like its nickname is like a high class Hooters. And when I applied there, it's kind of thought that like I was gonna make good money. That's really the only reason I wanted to work there. But I guess I just underestimated how creepy the guys would be, and like that's the main reason why I hated it. But I also quit because I didn't like my manager either. And it was just like pretty much a hot mess of a job. Like I literally went to work every day like dreading going, dreading dealing with my manager, and dreading dealing like being hit on by freaking 50-year-old men. So my manager was actually, there was like several managers because it was a pretty big restaurant. So I don't know if I said that, but I was a server, so I was like a waitress at this restaurant, and it was a pretty big restaurant. So there was a lot of managers, but the manager that I dealt with, she was like the hiring manager kind of, and like the front of house manager. And when I got hired, she had recently just been promoted, so she was kind of on like a power trip, I guess you could say. And maybe that's part of the reason why she acted like this, I don't know, but I remember during my interview I could tell that she was like really intense, which I thought was fine because I thought like I don't really care if a manager is intense necessarily. Like as long as they are competent, I really don't care. Like I don't need to be friends with my boss, you know, that's not like why I got the job. So I could tell that she was kind of intense, but I didn't really care. I just wanted the job, so I was like happy to get it. But like the first thing she did that like kind of, I guess, hinted me to the fact that she was like kind of crazy. Was that, so when we got hired, we had to learn all the food and stuff, right? Because, like, obviously you have to know the food in order to sell it. And so we had, like, a 2-week period after we got hired before our training to, like, study the menu and, like, make sure we know all the drinks and stuff like that. And the training was, like, really intense. It was, like, the most intense job training I've ever had. It was, like, you weren't officially working yet, but you were there at the restaurant for, I think it was, like, 7 hours. It started at, like, 8 in the morning, and it went to, like, I think 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So it was, like, a pretty long day, and you were literally just, like, learning the rules, studying the menu, practicing serving. Like, they were pretty intense about it. And so part of the training was, like, we had to upsell food items. So you had to prove that you had been studying the menu and that you knew how to, like, sell an item to a customer if they asked about it. I think I forgot to show you guys, but those are what the pancakes look like. So yeah, basically you had to just, like, the whole thing was we were sitting in a circle. So there was 2 other girls in my training group, and we were basically sitting at one of the tables, and we had a whole bunch of food in front of us, that we were supposed to try, and then you had to pretend like someone at your, like someone you were serving had just asked about the food item, and you had to try to sell it to them, and like describe what the food was, and like all that kind of stuff. I think I'm gonna try, I think I'll try the crepes next. Those are pretty good. I've never had crepes before, but they're nice. They're like really thin, which I kind of like. It has like a sour, so like this berry stuff is kind of sour, and then the crepe is sweet. So yeah, basically when we were in the circle, like I was super nervous, obviously. I don't know if you guys can tell from my videos, but I'm like actually a really like quiet person, and I get super shy really easily, and like I think I said this in a video before, but I hate being put on the spot. And so I just felt like so nervous to do this because I wanted to show that I had been studying it and like I actually cared about the job, you know. I didn't want to act like I didn't know anything. Wow, I literally love French toast so much. French toast is like probably my second favorite breakfast food besides waffles, or they're probably tied. So when I was selling it, I forget what even food it was now, but I remember I was in the middle of, it's kind of funny because I actually have a hair tie on my wrist right now, but when I was selling it, I'm like talking with my hands because I'm nervous, right? So like that's what I do when I'm nervous, I like talk with my hands. And I was selling it and like just trying to describe the food and like just trying to do my best, but it was awkward because everyone was watching me, you know? And literally in the middle of me selling it, like I wasn't even done. I was in the middle of selling it. My manager was like, "Can you please take your hair tie off your wrist? It's really irritating me." Sure. It's fine. Don't worry, I'll take it off for you. Don't embarrass me or anything. I don't care. Like literally, I feel like I probably turned super red. I was probably super embarrassed. It's not like a huge deal if you look at it like in retrospect. Like I know that it's not really like the end of the world. But just to be so nervous and have someone that you like want to impress and show that you care and like really want to like you, just in the middle of you talking, be like, "Can you please take your hair tie off your wrist? It's really irritating me." And then just start all over and resell the food from like the start. It was one of those moments where like literally, I don't know if this ever happens to anyone else when they like something like that happens, but I just felt like in the pit of my stomach like I wanted to go home and like crawl in bed. So that was one of the things that she did. I don't know, I'm like a really sensitive person, so if you guys don't think this is like rude stuff, then maybe I'm wrong, but because I know I do get like offended easily when people act like that, just because like, I don't know, I'm just like super sensitive, but yeah, anyways. Then another thing that she did, so in the other video, I think I kind of talked about our dress code. We weren't wearing anything. We had to wear like a specific uniform. Like we had like black dresses and like slacks you could wear. But the more thing they cared about was like how you looked in terms of like, I think I said in the other video, but they kept using the word polished during training. Like you have to look polished. So basically you had to come to work with your hair done, your makeup done. Like you just had to look on point like pretty much all the time. But another rule that they had was that you couldn't have any, first off, your hair tie couldn't be showing. So like what I have right now, like I couldn't wear my hair like this to work because my hair tie is showing. Then another rule they had was that you can't have any flyaways at all. So like your hair has to be like slicked back. Like if you wear it in a bun, it can't have anything like any hair sticking out or anything like that. Which that's how I perfected my bun, so I guess that's one pro of working for them. But I came to work one day and I wore my hair a little bit differently that day because usually I would wear it straight down or curled or like in a ponytail with the ponytail wrapped, but I decided I wanted to try like a slicked back bun that day. And I remember when I got into work, like, a whole bunch of my coworkers commented me on it, which was nice. Because I liked it too. Like, I really liked how it looked. I took, like, a long time on it because I wanted to look professional for work and I wanted to, like, meet the dress code. And so when I got to work, like, a whole bunch of people were commenting me. And, like, I'm not even there, like, 15 minutes. And my manager's like, Megan, can you come here? I'm like, sure. So I walk over and she's like, first off, you have... I guess when I put, like, my hair in a bun, like, it had, like, little pieces sticking out, you know, when your hair doesn't fully, like, wrap in. So it had, like, little pieces sticking out of my bun. She's like, first off, you have little pieces of hair sticking out of your bun, and you can see your hair tie. And I was like, oh, I'm really sorry. Like, I can try to go to the back, because we had, like, an employee room. I was like, I can try to go to the back to fix it really fast. Like, it was a morning shift, so we weren't even busy, and, like, I didn't have any tables or anything like that. And so she was like, sure, I'll come with you. I was like, okay. And so we get to the back and she's like, gonna try help. Like, she's offering basically to help fix my hair. So I was like, cool. If, like, she can fix it, then I know it'll for sure meet her standards and it won't be a problem. And so she has me turn around and I'm, like, facing the mirror. And she's standing behind me. I'm going to fix it. And I thought, from the way she was talking about it, I thought she was just going to, like, she said the only issues were that my hair tie was showing and that I had flyaways. So I thought she was just going to fix those two things. Nope. She literally, like, without saying anything, tugs at my bun to take out my hair ties, like, literally lets all of my hair down and begins to curl my hair. While I'm on shift, like, okay, I didn't have any tables at the time. But, like, I'm there to work and I want tables. Like, I want to be out on the floor making money. I don't want to be out here in the employee room with you while you're curling my hair. And you didn't even ask if you could take down my hair. Like, you just aggressively yanked at it. Do you guys like how mad I'm getting just retelling this story? Like, I feel like I'm, like, yelling at the camera. I'm so sorry. If I'm, like, aggressively yelling at you guys. But... So she begins to curl my hair. Not only, so first off, it would have been okay, I guess, if she would have just curled my hair and just left it at that, because that wouldn't have taken that long. No, she doesn't stop there. Why would she stop there, you know? Like, why would she do what normal people would do? So then after she's done curling it, apparently it's still not good enough because she then proceeds to put my hair up. So it was up before, but now she wants to put it in a ponytail, right? But when she puts up, you know, when you're like a little kid, I don't know if anyone else did this, but like when you're really young, you kind of struggle with putting your hair up in a ponytail. So for me, like when I would try doing a ponytail when I was little, it would always be like grossly slicked back and like at the nape of my neck, just like pulled back, super ugly, and just like, because I didn't know how to like tie it up high. That's literally what she did with my hair. So now my hair is curled and in a weird ponytail at the nape of my neck that looks like I don't know how to put my hair up normally. My bangs are falling everywhere because I had bangs at the time and I had like spent time slicking them back. Now they're just out everywhere. And I have to go serve tables with this disgusting hairstyle on that took like literally 30 minutes to do. So now I'm not going to make any money for the day because mornings are slow in general. And if you don't get any tables right away, like you're just not going to make good money. If you're a server, like I'm sure you understand how frustrating it is to not get tables. So that's another thing she did. And it wasn't even like she was doing it in a nice way either. It'd be different if I felt like she was trying to genuinely help me, but I felt like she was just being rude about it. Like if she was actually trying and like thought the hairstyle looked cute, that's one thing, but I feel like she just wanted to be bossy. Like I felt so uncomfortable the whole 30 minutes I was in the back room. Like I felt like this awkward tension. I don't know. And then I'll just say, I think I only have time for one more story. But I want to tell this one because this is why I quit. So, I had worked there. I only worked there for like 3 months, I think. And, so, you know how I told you guys that we had a training in the beginning? So that was our beginning training. And then you have another training 3 months later where they test if you, like, how well you know the food still and, like, how well you know the drinks. And, like, they show you the back kitchen and, like, all that kind of stuff. And they have you taste wine. And so when I first got hired, I remembered she asked me if because I got hired right before summer, so like last May, I think. And I remember she asked me if I had any summer vacations planned or anything like that. And I remember saying, like, literally, I was like, no, I don't have any summer vacations planned, but I am going to be taking summer classes. So I was like, having summer classes is going to impact my availability a little bit. And she was like, yeah, that's fine as long as you can work at night. Because night is when we're most busy. And I was like, cool, yeah, I can definitely work at night. And so then for the 3-month training, when she scheduled it, like, she was mixing 2 different training groups together. So it was like me and the girls that I had trained with. And then a group of other girls. So it was like 6, I think, girls total. And when she scheduled it on, I think it was like a Tuesday, Wednesday from 10 to 2. And I literally had class from 10 to 4. And so, like, my shifts had always started at like 5:30 because I couldn't get there until then. And so when I got my schedule and I saw that I was scheduled for training 2 days in a row right when I had school, I emailed her right away because I wasn't at work at the time and I wanted to get it solved like as soon as possible, so that it wouldn't be like a huge issue. I was like, hey, I saw that you scheduled me for training when I have school. Like, I have class from 10 to 4, but I'm available all day. I didn't have class on Friday, so I was like, I'm available Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day. And I can do it in the morning too because my class starts at 10, so I could do it if you wanted to do it early in the morning. We could do it then. And so she didn't even respond to me, but she sends out a mass email to everyone who was supposed to go to training and was like, I don't know if there was someone else who had scheduling conflicts too, but she sends it out and she was like, due to some scheduling conflicts, I'm going to have to reschedule the training, and I'll let you guys know when it's posted, but from now on, missing training will be regarded as missing a shift, which is basically like a no-show, and you get fired. So I was like, you're going to... I didn't ever respond, but I was like, okay, so you're going to mark me as a no-show for a shift that literally I told you I couldn't make, and I told you what my availability was for? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And so then, like, a couple days later, when I'm at work, she pulls me aside and she's like, hey, Megan, so when can you come to training? And I told her my availability again, even though I already had sent it to her. And she was like, well, how do you feel about skipping? And I was like, what? And she's like, well, when's your easiest class? Like, could you come in the afternoon, maybe a little bit earlier, or come early in the morning and, like, stay a little bit later? And I was like, I would prefer not to skip class. Like, because at the time, like, first of all, I never skip class anyways. Like, I just think it's, like, too stressful to try to catch up. Like, I'd rather just go to the class, get it over with, and then, like, not have to worry about, like, getting notes that you missed or, like, any stuff like that. And so I was just like, I'd prefer not to miss class. Like, I don't know what you mean. And then she was like, well, I would prefer, like, first of all, she pulled me aside in the middle of the restaurant. So I was on shift. I had tables I was supposed to be serving. It's like in the bar, so it's busy. And in front of everyone, she's turns on her heel, like sassily, and she's like, well, I would prefer to not have to make this schedule 100 times, and like turns away and stomps away, like in front of everyone. I was like, what? I literally told you when I got hired that I had certain availability, and I can't make this training. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to skip class for a job. Like, I'm just not going to do it. And so then I thought the issue had been resolved, even though she was rude. I was like, she gets the point. She knows I'm not going to skip class. Like, we're fine. But then I get my schedule for the next week, and guess when she moved training? She moved it from 8 to 12. When I had class from 10 to 4. So I was basically going to be missing 2 hours of class. And at this point, I just emailed my professor and I asked them, I was like, is there, like, what would happen if I was to miss class these 2 days? Like, how many points would I be missing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what can I do? And they all emailed, because I go to University of Washington, but at the time, because it's easier to pay for community college, I was taking summer classes just at a community college. And it's not like missing a lecture where you can just like get the notes from someone and it's not a big deal. Like, community college, it's like smaller classes, and I felt like each day, it was kind of more like high school where like each day you had something you got points for, like whether it be like a journal you were like writing in for the day, or like class participation, or like something like that. And so literally I had 3 classes. I emailed each professor, and each one said I was going to be missing points that I could not make up because I was not going to be there. And so when I got those emails back, then I knew for sure that I couldn't skip, right? Like, I was thinking about it because I was like, it might just be easier to skip class than deal with like ruffling her feathers, like irritating her. But at that point, like, if they all said I was gonna be missing points I couldn't make up, like, I'm not gonna skip for 2 days in a row. And so when I got my schedule and I got their emails back, I emailed her again and I was like, hey, I saw the schedule, was hoping we could talk next time I come to work, and like we're at work, because like we had kind of different schedules. Like, if I worked in the morning, sometimes she wouldn't be there, and so I was like, hey, I was just hoping we could talk next time we have work together. And so she emailed back and she was like, yeah, I'll be there at Friday at 6:30, and I was working that Friday too. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll just talk to you then. So I get there on Friday and she's not there. She just didn't tell me she wasn't going to be there. Didn't reach out and try to reschedule our talk. Nope. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to talk to her next time I see her. And I was like, maybe she just forgot, you know, like, it's not a big deal if she like didn't remember we were supposed to talk. Like, I'll just see her next time. So then a couple days later we worked together again. And she had like this little office in the back room. And I like knocked on it because I knew she was there. And I was like, hey, can we talk? Like, do you have time right now? And this was a morning shift, so it was like super dead. She was literally just sitting at her computer, like doing nothing. She was like, I'm really busy right now. Can we talk later? I was like, and like for me, it's so hard for me to approach people in general. Like, I was dreading this conversation. I hate confrontation. Like, I didn't want to do this, but I knew that I had to. And so I was like trying to force myself to just get it over with. And the fact that she kept delaying it, like, was giving me so much anxiety. And so I was working a double that day. And so that was my morning shift. She apparently didn't have time in the morning. So that night when I got off, it was like 10 o'clock. I had literally been working since 10 in the morning. I was super tired. The last thing I wanted to do was like talk to her about freaking my schedule, but I was like, Megan, you just need to do it and get it over with. So I pulled her aside and I like after my shift, and I was like, do you have time now? Like, is it now a good time? And she was like, yeah, sure, just give me a second. And a second turns into 15 minutes, so she told me to wait at one of these tables that we weren't using to seat people. So I'm waiting there for like 15 minutes, like just feeling so nervous and anxious. And then she finally comes over and I try explaining it to her. And I'm like, so I emailed my professors and they all said I was going to be missing points that I couldn't make back up. Like, is there anything we can do? I can do training Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I can do it in the morning. Like, you know, I was like, I understand that it's frustrating to try to schedule for 6 different girls, but like, I am willing to come in whenever I can. I just can't do it for these 2 days. And I remember verbatim, like, I forget, our conversation kind of went back and forth. First, she was like, I don't understand why it's a problem. Pretty much everyone who works here is a student, and they haven't had issues with it. And I'm like, so you're telling me that just because other people are okay with skipping class that I should be? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to work in the restaurant industry for the rest of my life. Like, I want to go to school, and I don't want to have this become my career. And so then we kind of went back and forth for a little bit. I was fighting back tears the entire time because whenever I talk to people and like confront them, I always end up crying, and I didn't want to cry because that would just be embarrassing. So I'm fighting back tears. I'm going to get some more pancake syrup. So I'm fighting back tears, and then at one point she like gets frustrated and she goes, "You're acting like a victim that needs special treatment." Excuse me, what? I'm acting like I need special treatment because I told you my availability when I got hired and you aren't respecting it. Like, excuse me, what? And so, like, to this day, it just does not make any sense to me. Like, I don't understand. Usually I feel like I can see other people's point of view in arguments, but this is just one of those times where I just cannot fathom, like, where she was coming from. Like, I understand that it's frustrating to work with so many people's schedules. Like, that's what you signed up for when you became manager. Like, that's your job, you know? And so, I remember I was like, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, I guess there's nothing I can do, but we just see differently on this issue. And then I just, like, ended the conversation. And so, then training was, like, a couple days from then, and I just didn't go. I had actually, like, applied at a different job, and I had heard back and knew that I had gotten the job, so I knew I didn't need to go to training, so I just didn't go. And so that was a Tuesday, Wednesday, and I think I worked that Friday or something. And when I came in that Friday, she, of course, had all the time in the world to talk to me then because it was about something she wanted to talk about. She was like, Megan, when I first came in, she was like, Megan, can you come here for a second? And she, like, pulled me over to the same table we actually had the other conversation at. And she was like, I guess, like, she first starts trying to be stern with me, even though I know that I'm putting in my 2 weeks that day. So I really don't care about, like, what she has to say about it. And she was like, so I guess there was an expectation that you needed to be at training, and I'm not sure why you didn't come. When, like, what do you mean you don't know why I didn't come? Like, did we not have an entire conversation about it? Like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't, you know when you just don't understand things and it just gets frustrating? Like, that's how I feel. Like, I don't understand where she was coming from. And so, I was like, yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't come because I had class, but I guess this is the perfect time to let you know that I'm putting in my 2 weeks. And all of a sudden, she changed up and she was like, this is really surprising. Well, actually, it's funny because she was with a assistant manager, and the assistant manager was like, this is really surprising. And then, oh my god, I almost said her name. And then my manager was like, yeah, this is really surprising. Is there anything that I can do to change your mind? Is there anything you can do to change my mind? I don't know. You know what really would have been really cool though is if when I told you my availability, you didn't schedule me and then call me, what's the word that she used? A victim that needed special treatment. Like, yeah, there's actually several things you could have done to prevent me from quitting. But now there's nothing you can do. Like, I have a different job now. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, I guess that's the story of my crazy manager. It's like easily the worst boss I've ever had. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this like story time, like this mini story time. I'm gonna do bigger story times in the future, but I kind of wanted to just talk about that because I realized I had mentioned it in another video and I totally forgot to talk about it again. So yeah, I hope you guys liked it. I will see you in my next video, and yeah, see ya.